So being classy and being elegant and approaching things in a way that you're not like looking like whatever people are trying to make you out to be has nothing to do with them so much so as it has to do with you. It's about finding your own peace and realizing that you don't have anything to prove, that what these people think of you is not very important, and that you have the ability and the power to control how the interaction goes. Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I'm a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we're choosing, right? What I'm talking about today is, in this video, is the importance of always being a class act, right? In our lives, we get so many opportunities to show people that they're wrong, to show people how offended you are, to show up people that are trying to compete with you or challenge you. There's always an opportunity for these sort of things. It can be in the workplace, in your home life, in your family life, your siblings, your family of origin, your family of that you created, whatever it is. There are these instances where these things happen. I feel like when these moments come and they present themselves to us, that we have one or two options to go to. We can continue the defensiveness, the competition, and trying to show people up, trying to show them that you're better, trying to show them that you're this, or show them that they're wrong. Or you can take the high road and then keep on trucking with your life. And the reason why this is so important in my life right now is because there was some situations recently where I had to really, really think deeply about whether or not I was going to be a class act or not. Because being unclassy about the way I handle things, especially career related and with people, I'm really big on letting people have the last word. I just don't believe in going back and forth, especially if I realize I'm not actually debating over a topic and you're just conflicting with my personality, then that's just not going to be something I'm just about to do. Then that means we don't really just have to talk to each other. It's easier, right? But I'm real big on that. And the biggest reason is because a lot of times when people are trying to instigate, they're trying to get you to react to something, or they're trying to make you look like a certain way, or manipulate you, or manipulate the people around you to believe certain things about you. A lot of times what we do is play directly into the nonsense. And by playing directly into the nonsense, by trying to defend yourself, deflecting, competing, getting like them. Oh, I know I said this and she said that. Let me send this message to make sure. You get on their level. You get on that low level of thinking. You get on that low level of operating. And what you really want to do is always keep your higher frequency, right? So being a class act is more than just about, I showed them I can be a better person. I'm a better this. I'm a better that, It's about you. It's about you knowing that you have nothing to prove to anybody, that you have no reason to be around anybody who expects you to prove anything to them. You don't have to be around anybody who belittles or, negatively speak to you that have no understanding, no empathy. Like, you don't have to do these things. And so in knowing that, you can easily extract yourself from almost any environment or any interaction, because the power lies in whether or not you care about what people are thinking and saying about you. If you are immune to that, if you're like, they're going to think, they're going to say, they're going to do whatever they want, then you're much more likely to be able to end things or leave things on a class act than looking just like what everybody said you were. You know what I mean? Because people, they can conjure up a lot of things. They can conjure up stories. They can conjure up ideas and energies. And a lot of people are very receptible to things, especially if they're looking for a reason to put you on the bad list. Because I always say this: when someone comes to me with information negative about somebody else, I don't listen at all. I don't pay attention to it. But I do know that there's a difference when someone comes with that information and the party is waiting for a reason to dislike them. Like, you'll see that with celebrities all the time. They'll have all these subscribers, and then one person will come out and say, she harassed me 10 years ago when we were doing this. And then they lose 100,000 subscribers in one day. It's similar to that, right? It's like you wind up getting caught up into what people have to say, and it winds up dictating your life and your movements and how you approach the world, right? So being classy and being elegant and approaching things in a way that you're not like looking like whatever people are trying to make you out to be has nothing to do with them so much so as it has to do with you. It's about finding your own peace and realizing that you don't have anything to prove, that what these people think of you is not very important, and that you have the ability and the power to control how the interaction goes. Because a lot of times when people are petty and messy and small, the interaction goes their way because you're not prepared for it, because you don't have an agenda, but they're like a step ahead of you with nonsense, right? And so you always got to think on your toes. It's like, wait, is this real? Is this something that I should be reacting to? Once you notice immediately, when you immediately notice that you are not in a discussion with the person who wants to solve a problem, they want to do something like humble you or teach you a lesson or create a distraction for some nonsense they're doing. From the moment you notice, you have to say, hey, step back. I'm going to let you be you, and I'm going to go be me over there. And there's nothing wrong with that. You take back all your power from that interaction, because all the power is balled up into the nonsense that they're spewing and going on about. And then you're sitting there caught up into that foolishness, and you're not even realizing that you're being brought down a few pegs, because that's the goal. The goal is to make you less than. The goal is to bring you down until they're comfortable at the level at which they operate, and then they feel comfortable that you're operating at that level too. But if you're not that person and you can't operate at a low level with them, it's going to be noticed and it's going to be seen. And that's when you'll start getting people to pick on you and start trying to provoke certain feelings and energies out of you. And you have to remember, once you notice that it's not a conversation that's rooted in creating a beautiful connection or friendship or environment or something, it's a conversation being had to control or to belittle or minimize you in some kind of way, or humble you. People love to say that. I think, sidetrack, telling somebody they need to be humble is the most unhumble thing to say. You can't get away from sounding ridiculous when you tell somebody you need to humble yourself. To who? Humbling only happens to the creator or greater source. Other people are not creators or greater sources, right? They got to go to the same creator and source you have to go to, right? So guess what? Humble yourself for yourself, and I'll worry about humbling me to the creator or the God or the source that I serve, right? So if you do that, stop telling people they need to humble them. You don't know what's going on their spiritual journey. You don't know what's going on the inside of them. You don't know what's going on in their heads and their hearts. You cannot walk around telling people they may be the humblest person you know, but their actions and the way they come off may not look like it, right? And so we get involved in these spaces and they're trying to like make these points and stuff. You have to just keep in mind that all your power lies in not letting them drag you along in that narrative, right? So it's like, you can say and do anything you want, but I'm not going to let you drag me through the nonsense of what you're trying to create, right? I think NSYNC said it best. What's that say? Something about I was a fool, just another player in your game for two, the bye-bye song. But it's true. You're just another player in the game, and you don't want to be another character in somebody's story. You want to be the protagonist of your own story. You want to run your life. You want to be running the show. You want people around you that want you to run your own show, right? That's what you want. Because when you're running your own show and you're feeling confident and solid in that, it's very easy to collaborate and do things with other people, because you don't feel like you have to give your power when you're interacting with them. You don't feel like, I'm so needy, I need to interact with these people. No, you're in your space, you're in your power, you're in your wholeness, you're in your peace. You don't have to go in those levels, right? So that's my message for this particular video. Just always be a class act. Always think about, how can I do this? Oh, another thing I do this with, and I'll say this is a quick reminder that I remember, is with money. I've had people do ridiculous things when it comes to money with me. And the reason why I think it is because I'm a very generous person in a lot of ways. But I was looking at something recently and I was noticing my Cash App and how much had gone out in the past year, how much had come in. I've not been reciprocated financially in most environments, but I'm always blessed, so it really doesn't matter. But it's one of those things I notice. I'm just like, man, people do some funny things when it comes to money, and then they always going, oh, I'm broken, this and that. But it's like your money habits, your money mindset is not in the right space. I had someone I was working with a long time ago. I'll say a long time ago. And it was a project I was working on. She kept saying we were friends, but I'm always skeptical about people that say that a lot, because I know when a friend is there, I don't have to say it out loud. I know that it's a friend. But she kept saying, well, we're friends. I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to make sure that I take care of you. I wanted her to plan something for me, an event, because I was releasing a new book. And so it was just all, we were all single moms. We were all doing the same thing. We were all, counting our pennies and nickels and dimes, although I didn't talk about it, but everybody else was going on about it. But we were all in that same space. And I think that's why the camaraderie was so deep at the moment. And I remember planning this event, and she's like, oh, no, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do everything. And so 3 days later, I called her back and said, you know what? It's not a good time in my life. Let me hold off on this, right? So then she said, well, I've done so much work already. I'm like, but it's only been 3 days. And she was like, I've called all the places, different venues. And so I narrowed it down to 2. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, that's fine. I was like, well, send me an invoice. I'll pay you for whatever, right? Because I figured, well, she made a few phone calls. It's no big deal. But I called it so early, I figured nothing was done. Well, she sent me an invoice for like $275. Now you're talking about a person, $275 was like my insurance and my light bill and my, lunch money for the week. That's what that was at the time, right? And so I was like, $275, but there was something in me when that moment hit. I was like, this is so unclassy of her to expect this, knowing that she didn't really do a lot of work and that we're all in the same situation. And I'm like, why am I seen as a come up? But I realized we had just had a conversation and she knew that I'd received some money from something. And I think that people pay attention to these kind of things and then they use it later to, to come at you a certain kind of way. Cause I'm like, if you thought I was broke, you wouldn't did that. Right. But nonetheless, it was that moment in time and I immediately sent it. Right. And I also sent it with a $20 tip. And people say, well, why would you? Because I want the source and the creator to know that I'm never going to be petty when it comes to money, ever. And I wanted her to know also too, that this is not you. It's not right. But guess what? You seem to need it. Here's a bonus on top of that. Similar thing happened recently with a plumber. Came in. He didn't do the job fully right the first time. He had to come back and do it right. He got it the second time. But then he was like, oh, I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to come back out. I'm not going to charge you because I don't know if we got it right. It was raining so hard that day. I'm not going to charge you. Dude comes in after doing the job the correct way the second time. It was like, can you send me $100? And I'm like, where are these people made? And I'm like, okay. He was like, yeah, I know I said I wasn't going to charge you, but can you send me $100 for doing it? And I was like, what are you on crack or something? Like who operates a business like this? And so you know what I sent him? That $100 he wanted plus $25 on top of that. And the reason why is because I refuse to have petty money conversations ever. If we go to a restaurant and everybody's like, I bought this, I bought that, I'm going to give my credit card to the person and have them pay for everybody at the table. I don't want to be a part of any of that type of pettiness, right? So that's what I mean by a class act. Always think about what's the highest and most elegant and most beautiful way to interact with this situation that's not exactly the way that I want it to be, right? And you're leaving the workplace, you're leaving a relationship. I've been the same way all my whole entire life with people. I never left relationships and be like, and I hate you and all this kind of stuff and throwing things and all that, right? I had one of those relationships in my whole entire life. But as I got older and people came, you're free to come and you're free to go. There's nothing that I need to do to anyone. So if I'm working a job or somebody's working for me or we're doing projects together, you're free to come and you're free to go. So when that time is up, the only thing that I want to do is to make sure that we part in the most peaceful and beautiful way as possible, right? You gotta just remember that all the time. I say, take this in your driving habits, take this in the grocery store. You get a negative interaction with somebody. I've been running into people that don't want to work a lot lately. I think their environments might be toxic, but when you're a customer, you can't tell. You just come in, you want service. And I'm just like, man, I've run into quite a few people that didn't want to work in the past couple of 3 days. Maybe they do, but they're not happy in their environments. I don't know. It's not my business. But when I see them, I don't go, well, if you got time or whatever, I just bypass them because I'm like, she doesn't look like she wants to be bothered. And we're doing each other a favor. And then when I went to someone in the store the other day, because it was the only person I had to interact with, she was using the phone and I walked up there and she kind of didn't say nothing the whole time. So I kind of did my little sheepish thing, like, I'll just wait here. And I was like, I said, I had a question, after she kind of looked up at me sideways, like, not really. And I was like, but if you're too busy, I can go find someone else. I don't mind. I really don't. She's like, no. What's your question? And that's how you got to do it. Elegant, classy. It's like, if you're busy, it's okay. I can go find someone else. I don't have to say, well, why can't you help me? Why can't you do workplace environment? If this is toxic, just be honest with me and I'll go find something else. I'll go do something else, right? You always have to keep that in mind. Be a class act. It wins every single time. I'm never going to, this is one of those messages I'm always going to keep talking about, because I think people just don't understand how beautiful it is to leave a situation, especially a situation to where you may not have been treated right, or you may have been looked down upon, you may have not gotten a fair deal out of it, or whatever it was. And you're able to say, you know what? Source got me. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.